There are multiple breaks with codependency, and such is the nature of being raised in cult-like circumstances and of being brainwashed. What a great way to brainwash somebody. Get them in childhood where they have no ego boundaries. They can't say no. Their brain is at its most plastic. Your neuroplasticity is at its highest. All authority figures are listened to because of this. The notion of the superego as a recording device, as a part that listens to older superior members of the tribe so that you understand what it is you can do and cannot do in order to increase your survival and your breedability, your reproductivity. You want, as a virus, as a human virus, we want our R rate nice and high. 2 kids would be good, 20 would be better. This is men and women. A lot of our core key behaviors are informed by that, and that's why the superego is there, and that's why the recording device, the other people part, functions in the way that it does. When you're inside of a cult, whether it's an actual cult or a narcissistic family unit that simply functions like a cult, any ego boundaries that you try to form will be smashed down at first sight, and you will be told that obedience is a virtue. So your superego, which is there, as I said, as a GPS system, allow us to live in accordance with our values and to move towards that which is good for us and away from danger. It creates a new value system. And in this new value system, it says obedience is the most virtuous thing. To annihilate yourself and to be the best servant, the best slave you can possibly be, is the best thing. Governments do this. It was literally done in Soviet Russia. They said they released propaganda saying about some young gentleman who apparently worked extremely hard as a farmer and put 18 bales of hay together in a day where everybody else was only doing 3 or something like that. So a standard is set very, very high. The superego will do this if you're raised in a narcissistic culture, a narcissistic family environment. The narcissistic family environment is the microcosmic level, the narcissistic culture is the macrocosmic level. And so you'll always be given a higher standard to aspire to. These higher standards are usually completely inhumane and totally unrealistic, but that's the cleverness of them. Get you when you're young, get you when you have no ego boundaries, and make you aspire to almost impossible to achieve high standards to keep you working. Because that's what codependents do. We work, we work, we work. We find things to do. We fix things. We are fixers. We are pleasers. So you are set with a coordinate from an early age that obedience is a virtue and service is a virtue. Slavery is a virtue. And another thing that occurs in this brainwashing process is that we are burdened with enormous feelings of guilt. Because if you want to get a child to do something, you can terrify the child and it will work. Far more powerful, far more long-lasting to guilt and shame the child into submission. That goes straight to the superego. If you just terrify the child and bully the child, you may be designated as a bad, threatening, undesirable, dangerous object, foreign object, separate from me. But if the parent uses guilt and shame, the child is far more likely to internalize that guilt and shame and to operate from guilt and shame.